Welcome back, everybody. My name is Ito, and I'm again joined by Pinecone to bring you the second game of the night. It is going to be Kinship versus RBG on train this time around. And, well, Pinecone, how you doing?
I am great. I made the mistake of not getting water between matches, so I'm regretting that life choice at the moment, but I'm excited to see more Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike is always good, and, well, knives rounds aren't exactly the pinnacle of CS, but that was a pretty dominant one, all things considered. Only one player goes down. Not that means much of anything, but Kinship will, or excuse me, RBG will now put themselves on the favorable side. And have you seen much of any of these teams? I know you mentioned a little bit earlier off mic that you have scrimmed
Yeah.
or played against
No,
RBG.
I have played against RGB in an official, and they destroyed us. I think we lost 6-16 in the first map, and the second map we lost like 3-16.
Oh,
So,
okay.
they're a pretty good team.
They've had good starts.
You
Well,
know.
I mean, who's a big standout player that you want to pay attention to if there was anyone that you remember getting specifically having your nachos eaten?
Well, it was a while ago, but G-Man Chu was quite a gamer, though he is going to go down actually to Boom.
Yeah, but it's an even trade, all things here. If this retake is just beginning immediately, the RBG are just seriously trying to bring these fights to Kinship at the moment to varying levels of success, but it seems to
Oh,
be working
Vince,
on their favor.
that is a huge frag for Vince to get. Oh my gosh, and that player rotating in, he keeps the control of the site for his teammate and puts into a 2v1 without getting traded. That is
Oh,
huge.
Pony!
Oh my god.
If they get the
Vince doesn't
shot.
have armor,
Pony!
and he has a kit. Oh,
Do they have
wow.
time? I'm sure they have time for it. That little hop might have almost just done it, but I believe Pony just in time. Unbelievable. Well, that's how you start things out for the Bang Pony with a 1 versus 2 at the very end of things, retrieving the kit and didn't even have to use a smoke to boot.
Oh
So,
man, at that point, if you're on the bomb train, you just can't peek. You just have to let your guy die. You have to let your oil player just take the contact and oh man.
I feel so bad for the player who's playing Oil as well because it feels like they're trying to play as passive as they could,
Mm.
but I mean, when
It is a
Pony is on, they're on.
close round though, so we have a good buy actually coming out from both sides because of how low the economy was. It looks relatively equal here.
In fact, I'd actually give the edge of Kinship at the moment. Just triple AKs in play and only a single M4 on RBG. I mean, I'd argue maybe Kinship have a better chance at doing this and just immediately destroying the chances of RBG to put up a solid fight early on in this game. But they're going to go ahead and do all the steps that they need to
Hmm.
get solid early control. As you see, Hex has taken T-Con.
Yeah, it's having that utility bought up. So choosing those UMPs and those MP9s on like over buying more M4s basically allows them to use their utility to take early map control like this safely.
And it's done them well so far. Hex has made his way into a pretty sneaky position. Kinship, it looks like they're wise to it. They know to, or they are playing very safe behind the smoke. As they are getting flashed in.
Oh,
Boom is wise to it. A double drop down ladder as well on RBG. Now they have a real challenge coming straight towards them when it comes in the form of Soul Goat. But Wiz and Pony are going to be able to respond in kind. In fact, actually take the lead. Soul Goat is the one making a huge mark on this round at the moment. Picks up a triple. Cleans up a good majority of Kinship, or excuse me, of RBG to put Kinship back in the driver's seat immediately.
yeah, that was just a perfectly executed outside take. Honestly, they know from the utility set that was used that RGB got a player pushed up into the team main position, and the pop flash to get them in was good. And
Yeah,
then just everything, the entries coming out of ladder were good, the trades were good, the spacing was good. It's just a good round from Kinship, all said.
I
Now
really
RGB is on a low buy.
exactly, and that's where I feel like it becomes a little bit worrying, because that's exactly why the trades are definitely very possible if they're going to be pushing outer like this alone. And Walco playing this one way to perfection right now, or not playing it to perfection. I'm surprised that Walco didn't spot anybody coming down, but they're going to lose their life almost immediately. And 2-on-4, I think Kinship have a managed to avoid the scare for the time being. They will get bombed down as well, so even if they somehow disastrously lose this round, which they won't, they'll have a very healthy amount of money to line their pockets. And they're looking good early on train.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start to their T side. They almost get the pistol. Getting the second round is huge. And even that third round, like, there's so few mistakes in the way they're playing. They have that player outside to show pressure and get information. And contacting B, they're just able to get those opening gunfights.
Oh, look,
And now RGB is just it's
going
full
down
safe
Ivy.
on both teams. Yeah, one flash for an Ivy pop. They're not going to find anything, though. Vince is already up on the bomb site, and he heard the pop flash towards Ivy. They know exactly what's happening right now.
They should at least, but they're being pretty thorough with this investigation. I mean, they commit double Molotovs over towards the Z position, and while I mean, I would figure it's a firing range, it takes a little while to get going, but then Aiden just starts firing on all cylinders and picks up 3 at the end of things. Kinship, another solid round under their belt. That's off to a pretty good start. RBG are going to be able to get that buy-in that they've been so or wait, are they not? Are they going for the
They're
rare
saving for
triple
ops.
save? Oh, that's true, but
They're saving for ops,
huh.
which is I think respectable.
I'm just surprised they didn't force up more for like, you know, a couple more
Last
upgrade
round?
pistols.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're the ones playing in advance, not me. That's what I always try to remember. They're the ones who probably know better and what to do in these sort of scenarios, and Kinship know exactly what to do to RBG early on. They're not trying to commit to any of these fights early if they can so possibly help it, and when they do, they seem to win them. A nice flash plus a frag comes through. Solgo is able to take a healthy amount of B control all by his lonesome, and it's looking pretty good for Kinship at the moment.
Yeah, right now they're just holding for info pushes, trying to see if there's a stack coming out anywhere, or maybe a late round play from the CTs. But it's super, what's the word I'm looking for, disciplined. In the way they're taking their map control, not opening themselves after that initial pick up for opportunities to be traded out.
Oh, well, I mean, discipline pays off. They end up getting all of what they need here. 2 frags, 3 frags, 4 frags. It's just kind of dominance in this round here. They don't drop a single player, and Kinship look, again, clean on these anti-eco rounds. But now this is where the real challenge will start coming to them, because RBG, they've saved up for multiple rounds now to bring out these double AWPs. And on a map like Train, this is definitely where you're going to see them. I'm surprised we also don't see an AUG, interestingly enough.
So the thing to note, though, is because they saved so many rounds in a row, Kinship knows that this is coming out. They know that it's going to be a double op setup. And hopefully there's something in their playbook that's going to give them the upper hand against this kind of setup. They should be prepared for it.
It seems like a more aggressive default than they were doing before. Kyle, at this point before, was just staying back and watching for any ladder pushes. This time he's fully, you know, entrenched himself over towards Vince. But Vince immediately just wants to try to bring the party to the B site. He's in such an aggressive position to get a kill onto Walco here, excuse me. If he were so as much as peeked his gun, and well, he goes for seconds, but unfortunately he's too stuffed to the brim and ends up falling. The trades are pretty good though from RBG, as he noticed Boom nearly falls next. So this is looking better and better as time goes on for RBG, because now Kinship have to retrieve the bomb, and that becomes a very, very tough task when you have a sniper looking down.
Airstrafes, though, make it a lot easier.
Most definitely. And I mean, Kinship don't exactly have a lot of way in utility.
But that said, though, if they can kill this ladder player, the A side is open for business. They do have 1 smoke, and that will allow them to control the points.
Wow,
but
Pony
gets 2.
See, Pony was actually just, it kind of felt like right place, right time. They were looking away over towards T-Con at the moment, so that flash had absolutely 0 effect on them. And they were just able to turn around for 2 quick frags, 2 easy frags. Didn't have to worry whatsoever. And now force things into a 1-on-3. Very, very tough scenario for Aiden to be in, especially when you're going against 2 AWPs who all know your position. You can't get much better than that, RBG.
So I actually like the call of the round, though, to have those 4 players working in there eventually. What they did was they had the 2 players down the ramp, the Opper and a Rifler. And the plan, I think, was for the Rifler to be able to kill the guy playing Pop with the rifle. And have the Opper just hold Z for the CT Opper to peek out. But the CT Opper peeked so tightly, and he just won the fight. The awareness is huge, just shutting down the B contact play. It's going to be a default. Vince, speaking of beating Oppers in gunfights, is going to be Jin Chu.
That, I mean, it kind of felt like a mistiming there from G Manchu, because Vince wasn't just like barely outdueling G Manchu
Hmm.
there. He was set up on that angle for a good 3 seconds before G Manchu actually just peeked in. So I
Oh, and
mean,
they're gonna
that's kind of telling.
contact through the smoke.
Oh no way.
Contacting B on this map is so strong, but Walko he gets a timing
Walko
on them and he gets 2 before being traded out.
goes
Why
down
the-
swinging, but that gives RBG a decent shot at actually doing this, and even more of a decent shot. How did Pony pick up that one? Sure, bomb at the very minimum is going to be put down for Kinship, but their next challenge arrives in the form of 2 CTs, one of which has an AWP, and another is going to be rotating in towards Z. If Boom gets this, might have a really decent shot at securing the round and putting themselves up on 5, but it's kind of a hard ask. Maybe
But the
even-
op is in a position to.
Oh,
No, the op gets
Op is
taken
not
down.
in position, and well, Boom certainly was in position for the first, but not the second, and definitely not the third either. So they avoid the scare for the time being, and RBG keep things competitive. 3
It's
rounds
actually
now.
a really neat post plant setup, though. Sorry, I'm like
Oh, no, you're fine.
dumping analysis here, but that's one to take home with you. Having your rifler push up close to the red train near Z and taking the contact, but unpeaking really quickly, and then having the opper holding a wider swing on that angle, lower ramp. It's basically a bait and switch, and it almost gives you a free chance to get into that round, like and make it into a 2v2. If you know, your opper doesn't get killed first.
Yeah, that's kind of the pitfall there, it seems.
Still
And
a great setup though.
speaking of setups, take a look at this. Kinship are playing this very passively this time around. Almost feels like they're expecting RBG to push early on. You notice that they have 2 players that set up over towards C-spawn watching for any aggressive pushes into T-con, but I mean, no dice, not going to be given to them. It's just kind of surprising because it didn't feel like this was a necessary change that RBG needed. It's not a not welcome one. I mean, sure, go ahead, go for it. I think it's going to be good at baiting out some utility from Kinship. But
Yep, it's going to
interesting
be an
know.
A hit though, with a couple going down ladder. They actually ran the strat earlier into the game. This is their force spy strat, and it worked really well for them. But they have a ladder set up on the CT side. Oh, it's going to be traded out though. That's a sight.
Yeah, the trades are perfect, and it just gives them so much information, so much playing room. And RBG, they kind of, I mean, don't have a really response for it. Kinship definitely seemed to be better this time around when they give it another shot, through ladder in particular. I mean, last time it was Pony winning both those duels in, you know, a matter of seconds, but traded out despite committing 2 players. RBG, once they had those 2 players go down, so did the rest of their teammates. It's a 3-on-1.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're committing that many resources to holding ladder, 2 whole CT players, like you cannot lose a trading game there. You just can't.
And that seems to be their downfall at the end of things here. Walko's in 1-on-3. It seems like he wants to go for this, or he's just trying to retrieve the op. But what is he doing? What is he doing? Why is he not getting out? Okay. Did he just want to have some players go down to the bomb or something? He manages to get one. Boom. Well, lives up to his name. Goes up in a boom. But that kind of felt like a weird save at the end of the day from Walko. It looks like he wanted to retrieve that op, but had second thoughts
Yeah,
about it.
I think he wanted to retrieve the op. Maybe he went to retrieve the op and then didn't see any players, so he was like, maybe they're hunting me. Maybe now's my chance for the ninja defuse.
It kind of felt like they were getting messed up by the grenade bug, but I didn't see any grenades, so I don't know. It was kind of strange to watch,
Yeah.
but doesn't matter.
Well-
At the end of the day, RBG are going to lose and be stuck with pistols.
Yeah, and this is actually a change of pace, though, from Kinship. Before, they're doing a lot of slow rounds, and it's going to be a fast outside take.
Oh my lord, I love this. Kyle, legendary play from him. Just picks up 3. Just it was 3 players just walking into the crosshairs of Kyle as he go down ladder. That was just kind of a treat to watch, even if it wasn't the most impressive of 3Ks.
The advantage of mixing up your pace on their eco rounds as well is that if that's not typically the way you like to play, like we've seen a lot of contact plays towards B and we've seen slower outside takes, is that it still creates the possibility in the other team's minds that you might be doing fast plays even though you really only want to do them when you have a significant gun advantage.
Definitely
Again,
mess with you. That's for
A
sure.
flash for the opera to peek. Wiz.
Wiz.
Oh, he's going to get flashed off though.
And I think that Molotov really kind of salt in the wound that they don't want to push that. Just go ahead and leave it be. let the T's have it for the time being because they've had no problems taking them down when they actually try to commit to the site itself. Walco will be the first face, most likely, if they want to actually commit over towards B here. All the smokes, all the works come through. Wiz will be the second to watch the back of their loyal teammates. But Walco is just completely blind for a lot of this. Just cannot see anything.
Oh my god, they're so far up towards Z.
Exactly. That's the power of having strong flashbangs like that. They just have full B control. The only damage being done from RBG comes at the cost of 2 of their teammates falling. I mean, it's very few and far between kills from RBG at the moment, and they're going to be stuck into a pretty rough scenario as the bomb gets down. And again, at the very least, lots of money given to Kinship, but what was that? A potential in given to RBG as Kinship falter a little bit, drop a player, but learn from their mistakes. Aiden, triple in the round, paves their way to success, get a 7th on the board.
Yeah, that's honestly, it's a good set piece. A lot of teams, I mean, not at this level, mind you, but a lot of lower level teams make the mistake of not pushing forward to get Z control. When you're taking that B bomb site, they will just like throw the sidewalk smoke and maybe throw like the pop bomb train smoke or a deeper sandwich smoke and just use that to get across and plant the bomb. But the reality is that if you can control Z, you basically control the bomb site.
Oh, most
and you
definitely.
can see that that set piece was designed for that because their Z smoke actually landed a bit shallower, so the players running up sidewalk could peek behind it.
I also feel like just, I don't know, that was almost a perfect execute from Kinship. I think is just kind of at the end of the day what to say. I was watching that from Walco's perspective. I felt like the frustration on their behalf because they were just blind for, I think, like 4 or 5 seconds straight. They had absolutely zero response to any of the players pushing up sidewalk.
There's no chance. A question for you though. Speaking of watching Walco, do you think that's his dog in the profile picture?
I really hope so.
I really hope so too.
I would be kind of disappointed if they weren't. And well, speaking of disappointment, G-Manchu goes down.
Yep, it's gonna be traded out though on the other side of the map, which is nice.
Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But I really want to see that dog now. You've got me thinking about it. It's even trade surprisingly RBG. Very cute one. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep the camera on him for now because on top of having a cute dog, also has a chance to do a little bit of damage to Kinship at the moment because they're not watching ladder at the moment. He snuck up all behind them. Has a ton of control. Control, unfortunately. Yeah, the CZ is one fickle beast. And,
yeah, I like the 5-7 personally. Been screwed by the CZ RNG so many times before.
I think it was also aim punch really kind of getting on some of the action. That was also unfortunate. Aim punch towards the end. That could have potentially given them a kill, but not meant to be. Kinship officially have won the half now. Get up on 8 rounds. They're looking good.
I mean, they just look so prepared. Like, all of their mid rounds have been good. Their set pieces have been good. They're clearly really well practiced on this map, and I think there's a lot of good stuff you could take home with you from this game. RGB, though, does have a full buy. They're going to contest for some outside control, maybe get their player number 5 Hex in the ladder.
What's Walco doing? Caught with a nade out, nearly loses his life because of it. But as you see, Walco, different switch up from what he was doing last time. Kinship brought the aggression to the table over at the B site, but it seems to be yielding the exact same results. They are going to again get the bomb down. I mean, RBG, despite trying to switch things up, they quickly learn their lesson. When they lose 2 players, don't try to commit to the retake. They're just going to go ahead and keep these guns for a rainy day because the forecast isn't looking very good for them. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's sad too because they've tried flashing to take upper B control with the op, but they've tried pushing players into team A, and they've tried even taking IV control, and it's kind of not a whole lot is working out for them. The default of Kinship has so many answers basically for everything. Like, it's a really safe default, and it's basically ding.
Goes unpunished. Wait, what was? Did Vince die to the bomb there? He was like the only person to go down. Actually, Boom does at the very end of things, but I think Vince was just watching for ninjas or something like that. But he just ended up dying to the bomb, even though he was full health. But I mean, I guess when you have such a massive buffer like this, Does it matter? I mean,
No.
your team is firing on all cylinders. When your lowest fragging player is Kyle, who has been having a pretty good game, you know, like, everyone is just doing well.
Yeah, but it's another set piece from Spawn. Quick A wall smokes are coming out,
Ooh,
and
good
players are
response
flooding out of the
Molotovs,
ladder.
though. I love these response Molotovs, though, from the RBG at the moment, but they aren't getting the kills to really follow up on it. Finally, a trade comes through. Pony only gets one for their trouble, but again, it's this Kinship making the kill feed yellow across the board. Walco is going to be left to, again, his own devices, but as I said before, is going to have to pull off a play worthy of device if he wants to win this round for his team. Not looking very promising at the time, especially giving up your position like that. Well over a minute for Kinship to work with. What can Walco even do at this point?
Well, 3 of the players are low. He does have a molly, and he could have made some magic happen, but the only player with HP is going to be the one who peeks them. So.
The only player. That's really unfortunate, but, well, that's the experience of playing Counter-Strike sometimes. That was already a very tough ask. A very tall order, however you want to say. RBG are just kind of scraping by everything they possibly can. Walco's giving up the ghost and is just going for a glass cannon op play at the moment. Aggressive positioning, but Kinship, whenever they want aggressive B control, they get it. And I don't really see that happening or changing anytime soon.
The flash is good, though. Aiden's going to go down. The player deep T-Con low. He's going to repeat.
Wow.
A questionable decision, I feel, coming out from Boom. Maybe a little bit greedy. He's feeling their advantage. No reason not play that a little bit more conservatively, but his team is flooding out lower ramp. It's not going to amount to anything, though, because Waco is hitting his op shots. And
yeah, that was one of the few rounds where I feel like I've actually seen a glass cannon work. A lot of the time, it feels like it's just never works out, but that was pretty much a dream scenario for Walco. Works out, and everyone on Kinship just kind of walks into their crosshairs and doesn't hit their shot. I watch that all from the victim's POV, and I gotta say, that was this kind of a hit and a miss of a round from Kinship. They weren't winning any of their duels. Boom looked very dazed and confused over towards T-Con. That crouch peek back in, that was very, I could say risky, but that doesn't even, I don't even know what the reward would be. Like, there's almost no way you come out on top of that duel.
You know there's 2 players there, so you know that even if you get one, you're not going to be getting the map control back for your team. So at that point, it's a little bit of a sunk cost. You just have to kind of keep the pressure up so that those players stay there and don't rotate B while your teammate goes out lower. But the moment you die, it just opens up so many venues.
Oh
RGB.
no. What? Hex just really wants some aggressive map control there, but despite being flashed in by a teammate, just isn't checking the right corner, and that just makes things worse for RBG. Luckily, though, Pony will go ahead, drag them back to reality, and so does I keep on calling him G-Manchu.
G-Manchu, yeah, he gets 2. The awareness to peek for the second player is good. And Wiz holding ladder.
Holds the angle, and yeah, they don't falter in that last round. RBG shows signs of life at the end of the CT side of Train, and they'll now switch over to the aggressor. Not too bad.
So this all really comes down to their plan. If they have a good plan for their T side, they can easily do what RGB just did.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
Sorry, what Kinship just did. RGB can do what Kinship did.
Yeah, I was like trying to process that mid-sentence, but I agree with you.
My head didn't switch with them, and I was like, oh no.
I mean, I think one thing just kind of that I'm interested in, and I'm curious if you have any insight, is Kinship, they were having really good luck over towards B, but they just didn't seem to want to go there for the past couple of rounds. Do you feel like there's any reason? Do you feel like RBG
Well, they actually did 2 rounds before.
Was that the time where Walco got the 3K with the glass cannon?
Yeah.
But that was like late round. It was already a 3 versus 5 when they committed to it. I don't know. Maybe, again, they're the ones playing in advance. Maybe they know this better than me, but I feel like they could have given it a shot. But they just all got stuck over towards ramp.
It is not a best of 3, by the way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry.
This is a best of 1. It's ESEA Advanced.
G-Manchu getting his name right. Will also get his grenades right. And RBG will enter the B bomb site. What is Vince doing? Caught out of guard, or off guard and out of position. And, I mean, it caught me off guard as well. Oh, man, Boom, not much better either. Completely flashed up here. Walco made a home in Z, but, well, gets evicted just like that. The retake is trying to come in from Kinship. They win that initial duel, but, I mean, if Pony has anything to say about it, puts a performance that they did last this around, it doesn't seem to be long for this world for any of the remaining members of Kinship as they fall one by one, and Pony with a nice double with a Glock, and I mean, it's just kind of a clean sweep at that.
Yeah, we could have a game on our hands here as RGB getting that first round is going to give them a chance to get a few more if they pick this one up cleanly.
Is that a Negev that I just saw bot from Kyle?
Yep. I really want to see what he has in mind here.
Is he... okay, I have a feeling he's just going to spam from Z over towards Seacon or something like that. Or ladder? I'm interested. I'm just going to keep the camera on his POV at the moment because this... I almost never see the Negev being bought up, but it seems like it might actually work out. Look at how many players seem interested in it. Oh, that nade.
The nades are good, though. We're going to dunk him a little bit, and there's another dunk coming in. He's probably not expecting the third one.
It's the airstrikes that you were mentioning before. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's a pretty rough start. RBG are pretty much having everything that go their way so far early on in this round. Still well over a minute, but they've made it a 4-on-5. Soon to be a 3-on-5 because Kyle surely isn't long for this world. He could get tagged down by nearly everything. You could breathe on him and he might fall.
I almost wonder if they've watched some tape of Kinship and saw the putting in the Kevin ladder on their Forza buy is a play that they're fond of.
I mean, it's gotta be. Just considering how well prepped it was, unless they're expecting some sort of like aggressive ladder control from Kinship. Otherwise, like, that just felt too predictable. I don't know. That was so strange.
That's what I mean, though, about RGB having a plan going into this game. Is if they have these reads, if they've done their homework, and they know exactly what they're trying to do, like, for example, an Ivy split onto the A site.
Oh, but you can't count on shots like that being hit. Soulgoat just picks up 2. Unfortunately, it seems like that's all his team will find, unless... No flushed emoji, and no scout kill for Boom either.
No flushed emoji.
A second 1-on-3 with an eagle. Will fall next. And RBG, despite 2 nice shots from Soulgoat, will be all that they have to their name. Noobage, by the way, there's no matches after this. I'm going to have to call it an early day. I have stuff to do after this match. But there was a match before this if you're interested. I'm not sure.
Look at this guy having a life.
Look at this dude.
RBG.
RBG.
What do you mean you're just not watching CS all night?
That's basically what I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I might be in for something on Saturday. Probably not tomorrow. Anyway, back to the game at hand. Kinship, another eco for them. And not very healthy money. It's not even bothering for many upgrade pistols. Only a single Deagle and Soulgoat, which after what happened last round, I don't blame them at all for kind of banking in. Those were some nutty shots to watch, but unfortunately,
I mean, if you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
Exactly. Yeah. But RBG, I feel like they're being very thorough with this. They are just kind of trying to sniff out any potential pushes from Kinship at the moment. And if they start realizing what's happening over towards B, they might have a good idea. Vince is about to peek his head and lose it as quickly as it began. G-Manchu gets a nice complimentary Mac 10 kill. And I think RBG are about to learn that they have the A site all to themselves. The bomb is going to get actually planted. I'm surprised. They're, again, going to be very thorough over towards ladder at the moment. Snuff out all players remaining. But the cavalry shall soon arrive over towards the top of ladder. And that's exactly what I was saying. That's why he gives Soulgoat the Deagle, because that was a pretty crazy shot. It just felt like Walko had no reaction to it whatsoever. Did he even have time to react?
It's so hard to react to shots like that. Chiminchu, though, is going to get a kill on the other side of the map, and there's not really a whole lot Kinship can do to get themselves in this round. If they can get an AK here, that would be pristine, honestly.
And they do get the trade out, so that's a potential upgrade awaiting Boom. Oh, but that footstep kind of gives away that Pony is hungry for some more. And how could you blame them? They want the stats, and I think more importantly, they don't want the guns in the hand of Kinship. Because that is a real
Mm,
worrying thing. Actually, I mean, they're going to be able to buy into this, but having an AK, I guess, would have been nice. Just a little
I think
more.
it's the stats. I'm kidding. I'm
You're
kidding.
right.
I'm
No,
kidding.
you're totally right, though. These are advanced players. These are ESEA players. They love themselves some stats.
Gotta get that RWS, and hopefully they might find themselves getting some more if this round goes their way. It's the first gun round of this half with RGB on the T side.
And this could be a very telling forecast for what to expect for this half as well. Because RBG, if they win this,
Mhm.
I mean, we might have an even game on our hands at the very least. Or they could be taking the advantage right back. After a 10-5 fall, they're,
Mhm.
I mean, looking pretty strong so far.
Yeah, they're gonna be running a set piece on B, and Kinship does have two players here. The nades are good.
Oh, but the
Oh,
shots are even better! I didn't even realize that was a collat from Vince, but he gets two of them. Aiden with another one before he falls, the anchor player. But in the end, it seems like RBG, they're going to be able to at least get this bomb down, but any more would just kind of be a, wishful thinking at this point, because Kyle is going to make Wiz and Hext fall just as quickly as the rest of the members of RBG, and it'll be another round in the works for Kinship. So that first gun round seems to go in their favor. Is there more
I
where that
mean,
came from, though?
there's always an element of luck to getting clats, to be fair.
Yeah, but I feel like of all places, though, B ramp is the place where that would
For
happen the
sure.
most. Because, I mean,
For sure.
it's just kind of a conga line out onto
A
the B
conga
bomb site.
line, yeah.
But,
It could have looked a lot different, though, if he'd missed that shot.
oh, most definitely could. I mean, they got the bomb down still, and they did an okay amount of damage. All things considered, it was a 2 versus 4. They managed to find 1 or 2 players, I believe it was. If they didn't get that
Mhm.
collat, that could have been another round for RBG. And they still have a decent shot at making some more damage happen this time around. It's another full buy thanks to that bomb plant that I mentioned earlier, and the trades are at least good so far, but it seems to end up favoring Kinship at the very end of things. Kyle is nearly on for a third at the moment if G-Man-Chu peeks his head for just an inch, for just a moment, rather.
Yeah,
And
it
things
was
look
it
pretty
was nice to
so.
see. It was nice to see Kinship getting in front of those smokes.
Oof.
Um,
Yeah. Well, aggressive play. Back to your point, though, Kinship, yeah, we're playing a little more aggressive, and aggression might not always be the right answer. This was just kind of weird to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching a lot of the CT's POVs at the moment, but it just kind of felt like they were pushing for no reason at times. But I think, they've weathered the storm for the time being, and Kinship should win this one. But that kind of felt a little bit messy more than anything. It doesn't feel like the cleanest round from Kinship, but it might net them the round they need in the end. Solgoat gets taken down because he exposes too much leg. And everybody likes looking at legs, but not that much.
for a second, I
Rounds.
thought he was in a winnable position. but, you know.
Me too. If he got that kill on Vince, it could have been.
Yeah.
Either way, 12-8 Kinship. They're looking a little bit better now. They've chained together 2 rounds and have successfully broken the economy of RBG, so this should be kind of a free round for them. At this point, what do you say about stacking B? Because I feel like that is what I would do if I were on Kinship at the moment. Because I feel like RBG...
I mean, I think their call to have 2B mid-round or even 2B off the start is plenty of a stack enough.
That's very true. I forgot that they usually only dedicate 1 player towards it. And interesting, speaking of only 1 player being dedicated, Walco is going to be the only player remaining over towards Ivy. The rest of his team have rotated over towards Seacon at the moment. And we'll actually go ahead and go on a tour elsewhere.
They
Well,
don't have any utility to work with.
that
I
makes this
hate...
10 times harder.
Yeah, as an IGL, I hate calling rounds like this. Because it's like, I know we can't invest in utility in this round because we need it going into the next one, but it's just like, it's so hard to make anything happen. Although if you can trade one for one,
And now
blocks,
picks up the
that's
smoke
good.
off the dead body as well. If that smoke goes out towards sidewalk, that is potentially free plants. I mean, I
Or
don't know.
a
This
smoke towards sidewalk and then your player is sending it out T main.
T main or down ladder even. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for them to still have a little bit of life back in this round. Surprisingly, I didn't think I'd be saying this looking at the buy and, as you mentioned as well, looking at the utility or lack thereof. But surprisingly, they've made some lemonade out of these lemons that they're given. 30 seconds remain here. If Hex, yeah, no shot for him. If he won that duel, that would have just kind of been salt in the wound. But it seems like cleanup duty is on the board at the moment for Kinship, and so is round number 13. So they're starting to secure themselves a little bit more, and they're starting to look better, I'd say, Kinship. Because that was a secure round. More of what I wanted to see. But what do they need to do this time around? Kinship, do they need to switch anything up? Do you feel like RBG have a decent enough read on the scenario, or on the situation, excuse me? And are they going to make adjustments in this next coming gun round, or do they just kind of go back to that default that they've been doing?
I honestly don't have an answer for you. Kinship has had a lot of answers to a lot of what they've been doing, like getting in front of the smokes when they throw the first wave of an outside execute, or when they're trying to contact B, or sorry, run a B set piece. Actually, like the Opera is able to get a collateral. Like they've tried quite a few things now at this point, and not a whole lot of them have found success. I mean,
I feel like what they are trying at the moment is Wiz picking up the AWP. Hasn't exactly been having the best game. Bottom of the scoreboard alongside G Manchu, which, interestingly enough, was one of the players that you wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to. But I'm not sure if the op is the answer at the moment. I mean, ops are pretty fantastic on train, don't get me wrong, but this pace is just very slow from RBG at the moment. Sure, there's still plenty of time, but it doesn't feel like they have really a lot of map control to show for it.
no, but they have baited out a lot of utility.
That's true.
Which
Yeah,
is
it's pretty
one
minimal right
small
now.
thing that might help them, especially if they're going for a
Ooh.
B set piece here,
Oh,
because they're not going to
Vince.
have a lot of utility to stop it.
Don't mean to cut you off, but Vince just locked on exactly to where why do it's not Chu Manchu. It's G Manchu. Jeez, I'm stuttering over that so bad. Either way, RBG have one player dedicated over towards Ivy at the moment, but the push is happening over towards Inner right now. Stuck in the smoke, Walco will eventually arise from it, but he's going to be forced to get this bomb down. That's just going to be a free kill for Boom, and that's just a round given to Kinship at the moment, because G-Manchu, he was just having fun over at Ivy, and because of that, I mean, I mentioned it was too slow, and I kind of feel like that's one of their downfalls, because when they exec, it's very late, and they have a player off in the middle of nowhere, and this kind of leads to their downfall at the end of things. But I think you and I were watching different POVs at the moment, so what did you see that maybe I didn't?
Honestly, it was like the thing that I saw about that round was essentially that they tried to bait out a whole lot of utility and go for a really simple B pop with one smoke and one flash.
It feels like
And
they
the
got
the
stuck
problem with
behind the smoke.
well the problem with that is just that there's so many different spots to look, and because they had no picks, is they were able to have a decent amount of resources on the CT side towards the B bomb site, but like they were able to just take the gunfights and they won them. Like that's as simple as it gets.
Sometimes that's all you need just to win the gunfights. And, well, I mean, RBG did a good job at baiting out a lot of the utility, as you mentioned before. So at the very least, they know that if they just play slow enough, they can get a lot out of it. But they're hungry for more. They need rounds more than anything at the moment. They're kind of putting a pretty strong investment into this one. G-Man Chu, only one with a Krieg, will try to entry frag. Did Aiden actually get that follow-up?
Yeah.
He's actually still sticking with this angle, but unfortunately, he flies a bit too close to the sun and ends up burning up. Luckily, though, Kyle will just tap away the AUG. Unfortunately, not as gorgeous as it used to be. It's the Krieg that's really showing off all of its prowess at the moment. That Krieg retrieves and finds two. Clicks away, and RBG still have life yet here. Only one piece of utility to speak of, Wiz, with a single smoke. We'll pretty much just have to play around Hex at the moment unless they want to maybe switch guns up. But
Yeah,
RBG have a real shot at this, it feels like.
oh, this is such an interesting round.
This is definitely one of the ones that you look back on and find out how he even went down. Definitely something to look back on if you're, a coach of either of these teams. A double
Mhm.
drop over towards ladder. It seems like their final destination will be the A bomb site. Soul Goat is going to be waiting, and he could just easily siphon a couple more kills into his arsenal. He's had no struggle so far, and they're just practically
Mhm.
going to finish the job for him, really. Vince over towards Z spots another, but it's Soul Goat to finish the job. He has been having a crazy game. 28 and 14, 100 ADR at least for this half. I mean, you can't get much better than that, Pinecone.
I do like the idea of juggling, like buying one Krieg and then just juggling it upper.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, I think all
it's
things
neat.
considered, they did a lot of damage with it. I mean, Hex found two, and I believe it was G-Man Chu who had it before. Didn't unfortunately get much going with it just because of Aiden hitting incredible shots. But I mean, I feel like if Aiden didn't get that double kill there, that could have been a potentially even more
Mhm.
lethal round. I mean,
Yeah, that
lots
could
of
straight.
ifs,
Oh.
really. Ooh. Speaking of if Aiden hit those shots, maybe RBG wouldn't be granted the site, but unfortunately he falls. FAMAS in hand is going to be given up to the T's, but none of them will look to downgrade. Retake begins. Kinship have a decent shot at doing it, but RBG are in very aggressive positions behind these smokes, and this is something that you're a fan of, Pinecone, but let's see if they can
Mhm.
actually pull it off to the kind of expectation that you would hope from this, because they're not winning the gunfights they need, and unfortunately it falls on its face. Kinship win it 16-8. And
GG.
yeah, I mean, GG, not too bad, not too shabby whatsoever. Kinship, they were struggling a little bit on the early side of CT, but it seems like they really start to secure themselves at the very end of things and really start putting together a really solid half. Much improved by them. And I mean, what other thoughts do you have on the game that maybe I didn't mention before or that you saw that I didn't?
Um, I mean, it's just one of those things where like Kinship was winning a lot of the duels, and they were trading favorably. Like one anchor player would be getting 2 kills on the like attempted entries, and it's like it. You really, as the team players on this map, you want it to go favorably for you. Like you want to go 1-for-1 or even better than 1-for-1. And if you're losing 2-for-1 against the anchor players, like it's not going to be a good site take for you, and that's really what a lot of it came down to. The decision making was okay, the site takes were okay. I liked a lot of the theory that was going into their set pieces and their takes, but like getting op collided, losing two to an anchor player, your lurk getting killed by like the guy getting flash peeked into Ivy as the rest of your teammates are going B. It's like you have to be getting those positive gunfights in order to succeed in a map like Train, because the CT start with so much control.
Hmm.
Um, it's
It's
really
a
what all of
tough
it
pill
boils
to
down to.
swallow, it feels like. I mean, all things considered, both teams can take a lot of good coming from these games. Looking at the demos, looking at everything otherwise, but I can also take a lot of good from this broadcast. So, Panko, thank you for joining me. I mean, it was a lot of fun casting with you, and I hope to
Yay!
cast
Yeah,
more with
thank
you in
you
the
for having
future.
me. It was really fun too. It's a pleasure being here. I'm always trying to like do more casting and kind of get my feet a little bit more wet with content creating in this community. So, thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. It was a lot of fun.
It was an absolute dream, and thank you guys again so much for the support. I think we peaked at 85 viewers or something, which I've never gotten before. It means a lot to me as well, but that's enough of my voice for the time being. I hope you guys have a great night, and Pinecone, I hope you have a great night as well. Thank you so much again, and it was a lot of fun, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Bye.